Hello and welcome back to day 11 of our Rimworld medieval whole tile colony. It is big. We got real big. We got real big. We're one building off the total completion of our trades district. Something here, which actually we can talk about what we want to do here today. What are we working on? We're working on the moat. It's been a couple of days since we've been at the colony. We're working on the moat, trying to dig that across. We recently just laid down the charcoal burners camp, or at least the tents. We have a fishing district to build. We're digging stuff. I think if we can get the resources today, I'd really like to finish the palace. I feel really bad that this has just like been an empty room, the royal dining hall. These walls need to be done. We're working on the fort. I think today is going to be a lot about resource collection, which is what's going on right now. We have all these rocks coming in. We have all this good marble and granite being broken up. You can see Chocolate Mousse hard at work. Newton's grabbing the blocks. He's coming out to finish the fort. So I think this is going to get done today. And the moat should get decent work. This, I think, only has one more level to go down before it is fully completed. So we're going to cruise around. We're going to figure out our plan. Why are all these animals on a caravan hitching spot? Somebody has drawn a little moon here. That's really cute. I want those animals to be freed. I think they got stuck there when the pen was still open and nobody has moved them out. So we're talking about the problems of capitalism and stockholders in the video game industry marketplace right now. It's been the chat of the morning. See, the problem is not in capitalism or communism. It's problem in people. In an ideal world, an ideal people, any system would work. Yeah, but we don't have an ideal world. That's the problem. We have a messy world where people are often awful. Sadly. And we got to be real about what it is. Oh yeah, our caravan, which is full of bone mold and awful cheese and a frost troll. That was the big one. Fay Lynn, get the hell up. Why are you asleep right there? You have a bedroom, don't you? Isn't this your bedroom? Yeah, why the hell did she fall asleep on the ground? Blander and Cassie in a social fight? Not a good one to have. But they're okay. They're drunk. They're just getting drunk at the tavern and getting in a fight. If you don't mind helping Blairy, I'd appreciate it. Bones has a lot of work to do here. One hand, Monopoly bad. On the other hand, look at what Valve has done for the gaming industry in the last 20 years. Yeah. That's it's one of these things where it's like a monopoly is not inherently bad. It just happens to be that most times when a monopoly forms, it's bad. It's the same thing, like technically a monarchy or a dictatorship can be a good thing, but 99 times out of 100, it's a disaster, right? Like a lot of things can get done, but generally it ends up being a bad time for everybody involved. And it's the same thing with monopolies. If a monopoly was doing its best to actually like improve the industry and fix problems and make things better for everybody, then it can be a good thing. And they have a lot of power because of a monopoly, or, you know, to actually get things done. But it is not the way things typically work. People might just be able to ruin any system there is. Exactly. Exactamundo, dudes. How's Yan doing? He's good. He's a little, he's believing in his wood elf ways. Yan is my favorite story. I love that there's like from the very beginning, Yan had these leaves in his hair, and then he decided his half-elf history would be as a wood elf. I like to imagine that Yan doesn't know his mom, you know, and he probably thinks if Blander is a dark elf that his mom was a wood elf. This is what I like to, this is my headcanon. So that's why he's decided to do that. I also appreciate that he is going around, like he is working. This kid, he puts in work. He might draw all over the place. This is the most inconveniently placed web. our giant spider just being like, I'm gonna catch somebody and I'm gonna eat him in the middle of the road outside the palace. One change of the corporation with the stockholders is the corp. It's how it was designed. They're not a publicly traded company. I mean, I don't know how to fix the problems other than just like putting billionaires on the chopping block. Which honestly, I think would fix the problem. If people realized that we had a cap to how much money one is allowed to personally hoard, I think the problem would pretty much solve itself. But that's just me advocating for violent revolution, so you don't have to listen to me. From now on, I see the world right now, every system at some point kind of becomes a monarchy. Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, capitalism is like we freed ourselves from kings and queens, and then we financially elected a new royal elite that is, it took them a while to consolidate power. They've really been consolidating since around like the 70s, because of things like Reaganomics and whatnot. And now it's like they've consolidated so much power that we basically have recreated monarchies and oligarchies and royal families. It's just they don't have titles, but they have all the money, right? Like, they have as much money as the kings and queens of old. They collect it in different ways, but it is much as the same. Kings and nobility just got the name changed. You got it. You got it. Meritocracy is great in theory until inheritance happens. Yeah. Can I turn this off? Is this room stats display? You know what? We've had this pop-up thing come up so often, and I realized I could just click a button and get rid of it. Communism, everyone is equal. Some are more equal than others. Yeah, I mean, one of the big problems with, like, giving the government everything is then, like, what happens if the government becomes corrupt? Which, you know, we've seen happen time and time again in communist and in capitalist societies. It's not unusual. It's not unheard of. It is a problem, but it is complicated to fix for sure. What are we going to do about the floor here? Also, what am I actually doing in these rooms? This was going to be like a barracks. I think this is kind of going to be a hospital. Barracks hospital. Hamish has started roaming away. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Somebody needs to get him. Yan, can you do it? No. Chocolate, you definitely can't. Blairy probably could. No. Where the hell? Where's Cassie? In the hospital. Because you got to fight with Blander. Who else is good at animals? Tollpanzer. You're trying to lead someone to a pen. If Hamish gets off the map, A, he's our pack animal. B, he's got a bunch of money on him. Oh, nice. This is what I want to see. He mounts a horse and takes the horse out there. Go. Go. Hurry, Tollpanzer. Ride like the wind. I think we're fine. I had some realizations. I'm just remembering things that I thought about last week. Of things that I would like to do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, pigwit. You're dead. I'm not even going to try. May you feed the great forest worm. So I had a realization of... most of the map I've known what to do with. The one part of the map I haven't known what to do with is this. So there's actually two things I really want to quickly do here. One, we discovered on our 3-year anniversary stream the other day that 10 tiles is actually the magic number. You cannot normally build within 10 tiles of the edge of the map. So when we talk about doing the medieval full tile run, this is technically, if we want to be technical about it, which I'm not too picky about, this would be the magic space that we need to fill. So the cool thing is this goes like right to the edge of these guys. I'm thinking about making this a war camp. So instead of walling it in with brick, we would wall it in with palisades, and we would actually have an opening right here. So the entrance to the town would still stay here, but it would also have the entrance to a war camp where like soldiers would stay and all of our melee people would train. This would allow this fort to be focused on archers and knights, maybe like the nobility of the army, so to speak. This remains a haunted forest. We'll find ways to make this fancy. I don't really have to deal with any of this. I could fill this up with water if I wanted. This becomes water fishing village, charcoal burners. This is a forest that we have in a grow zone, so that counts. This is open ear, so this is being used. Like that basically means that like all of this is done. I have to figure out what goes here. It's really good grow zone, so we might end up gobbling this up. I'm not sure on what I want to do with this yet. This is all hay. This will be a road, probably, or it'll be a road with hay. I think what I'll do is I'll do like a road that goes like zoop, 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 and then I'll try to make this like as much of this hay as possible. Then this becomes a war camp. This doesn't really need to be. I could moat off a little bit of this. This, I think, is going to become an expansion to the city. I think I might just build the walls down here. TBD. It's a wild cave troll. And this, we talked about having this be another entrance to the city, so that's still a possibility. Or we might make this like some sort of holy ground. Jury's out. So, this is what I want to do with the build going forward. Let's go back to I can go back to talking about communism. I had to just get at those thoughts while I remembered them because this is like a week old. Communism had two issues: leaders becoming corrupt, people not working because they saw things. Anything you saw both in the USSR where leaders are corrupt and a lot of farmers are not working because why bother when you get the same either way? Yeah, yeah. Problem basically people being terrible. Communism has easily become fascism. Yeah, I mean even Russian communism was like rapidly descended into fascism, right? This is the problem. The systems work until they become corrupted. Capitalism works if you don't have, you know, terrible organizations going around trying to consolidate power and change the laws to strip the rights away from voters and everything else, right? Same deal. Fascism is left ideology from the start. Like left wing? I think fascism is more right wing. I mean, I think it's just more extreme. You can have fascism on both sides of the spectrum, right? So, this is Honkers. Don't you dare. You're my venerated goose. I can't have you running away on me. You don't mind? That one's kind of an important one. Similar depending on how they're enforced, yeah. Communist state, the government has so much control, it makes it easy for so-called leadership to abuse it more. Could have a lot to do with it, yeah. I think he's trolling. I wouldn't agree that fascism has left him. I think it's extremist. I mean, I wouldn't say it's only left-leaning. I think it's more. I think the right tends to lean towards fascism a lot more, but in extreme left, it is also like it is a different form of fascism, right? It's just it's possible on both sides of the spectrum is the whole thing, right? And that's what you have to realize. Like there are issues on both sides, and it's hard to have like a full centrist opinion either because then just nobody is happy. In Canada, this was like the whole thing with like Trudeau in Canada was basically a centrist leader. He tried to play both, is still trying to play both ends of the spectrum. He's trying to appeal to the right and the left, and he's like getting absolutely just dragged across the coals for years for doing it because nobody is happy with what he's doing. But it's also complicated because you have a place like Canada where people exist on both sides, right? We have people who are far left, we have people who are far right, and we have a lot of people in the middle. And it's hard to appease them all. It's not a simple task. Most systems are created to fix a problem. Once the problem is fixed, then instead of finding a new problem, the system problem become maintaining power. Yeah, okay, so I mean, great example in Canada. The Liberals got elected in their most recent election because they were like, we're going to do electoral reform. The elections, the way that we run elections in Canada are really problematic. When we have things like first past the post, which would make way more sense, or even like weighted voting or whatever. And they got in because they were like, we're going to do electoral reform. And then they realized if they did electoral reform, they would never have a majority government ever again. So they scrapped it. And everyone was upset about it. Myself included. I could actually rant about that for hours, but I won't. But it's a big problem. Herbs, lentils, mushrooms, garlic, onions. What else did we just unlock? Oat? No. I don't know why I have vanilla plants expanded on. I don't want it. Cabbage. I love that cabbage is advanced agriculture. It's the easiest thing you could possibly grow. Lentils, peanuts, peas, onions. Pumpkins. We can make pumpkin fritters. Spelt. The other big thing was that with that advanced agriculture is that we can make wine via production posts. These timber posts requires soil. Interesting. I can't grow it in soil, but I can grow it in lichen covered soil. Huh. I think we can grow tomatoes with this as well. Is this something I want to do? I don't think it is. It's winter right now. I'm not going to be building posts. I think I'm going to replace these mushrooms with pumpkins. Because this does not require boiled lentils and onions. Lentils, onions, and garlic is required there. Cabbages we don't specifically need for anything. But we could make pumpkin fritters. A sweet dense biscuit of pumpkin and flour with a caramelized confectionery glaze. That sounds like a nice little treat. My God. Oh, I love that we're in such a good political discussion this morning. Nazis weren't leftists only in naming conventions of the party. Yeah, I mean, naming conventions never really work, right? I mean, you get... on the right-hand side, you keep getting acts that are like Protection for the Kids Act, and it's like this is a protection act to cover up pedophiles. Like, you know, we get all sorts of weird problems like that. People often name their organization about exactly the opposite of what it's doing because they're just like, no, we can't be that if we say we're this. Tons of good old gerrymandering. Yeah, huge problem as well. Gerrymandering is like one of the biggest issues in America. Authoritarian, ultranationalist political ideology and movement characterized by dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of oppression. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like extreme left is meant to be like you're meant to be able to say anything what you want. But again, I see what VM is saying to a little bit. Like it's just it's an extreme of any political spectrum can produce fascist environment, right? Because like extreme leftism is actually also about censorship, right? It's about censorship around not censoring, but it is also still censorship at the same time. It's obviously it's a very complicated issue, but right. Pumpkin fritters greater than I don't know. Left wing in the same way Democratic People's Republic of Korea is democratic. That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like, yeah. It's exactly the kind of thing, right? Like, they just say it's this thing and then it's not. I mean, even the old, like we have like conservative parties and Republican parties and labor parties and stuff like that. And it's often because like that's what they were initially started as, but what they are now is like way away from what they are, and they haven't updated their name. So the left in the 40s is not the same as the left now. See, I'm just catching up on chat and you guys are just one step ahead of me right now. Been moving on. This is why I really appreciate you guys in chat, because you are generally very forward thinking, and I don't have to explain critical thinking to this chat. You guys are so good at it, guys and gals. Leftmost leading person would be extremely right wing by today's standards. Yeah. Things get muddy around the edges. Socialism is generally a left idea, but the national part meant social for the nation and not in general. I would not advise trying to party name and put them on the political spectrum. Yeah, again, it's just like the naming conventions are always all over the place. Libertarianism, it's not the same as leftism. Yeah. It's all a complicated mess. What's not a complicated mess though is this armory, which is finally done, which means we can move all this stuff. Make more room in the forge. What else should go in here then? I think we'll do 2 empty racks. I reckon a cupboard's gotta go in here. Technically, armor should probably go in here. Can I put armor on these? These are empty weapon racks. I could put armor in the cupboard. I could also put... No, this is just not fitting anything that I really want it to properly. Where are the empty shelves? I could do like a 1-2 and a 1-2, and we could put armor on that as well. No light in here. I could do 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Would that be better? That's what I need to be spending all my lumber on. Actually, I kind of like that. That's kind of a cool armory. There's like weapons here and here, here and here, and then all of our good armor can be stored on these shelves. And it's still lit up. Not that it needs to be, but you know, it's an armory. Things are sharp in there. I don't want people to accidentally be stabbing themselves. I owe, so off to work I go. D-Rock. Have a good one, dude. Bon travail. I think it's more of a circle than a line, considering the paradox of radical acceptance. Radically inclusive society must be excluding the members that aren't inclusive to everything and everyone, thus defeating their own ideals. Yeah. And I mean, the flip side of that is like they also say that like there is a like a philosophical thought of if we accept, I can't remember the name for this, but it's basically like if we accept any kind of exclusion, then it will always grow to more exclusion. So therefore, the only way to stop that is for exclusion of non-exclusion or something like that. It's a very weird and complex idea. The paradox of tolerance. That's it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not like a specialist in this kind of thing by a long shot. Not by a long shot. But I do find it fascinating. And I like talking about it. This is set up as a shop. That's actually not set up as a shop, which is probably good. That's a shop. This is a shop? Yeah. This is because people can buy fabrics here. Which I am not sure I like the idea of. That needs to be a linen barrel. As we slowly move out these crates. I don't know where we're going to put these crates. Probably in here eventually. An anima seed. Do we have room for another anima tree? There's no way we do. I could squeeze one up here. I'm going to do it. The anima garden grows. I love it. Wood. It's winter, so our growers should have less things to do. One thing I was thinking about doing is giving them more room in this birch forest. Because this birch forest does not cut down the grass. In fact, doesn't cut down anything. So them just planting a couple extra trees here is kind of helpful in keeping with our eventual wood upkeep. Also, we have some half trees in here, so this will like add the more stuff for the off season. Left right is different in North America versus the EU. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Acceptance must be backed by social contract. Centrally planned economy. Paradox of tolerance disappears under social contract. I mean, it's all very complicated because it's like, how do we fix the problems, you know? And it's there's not a lot of good answers that have been put forward, I would say. Very few good answers that have been put forward. And I don't mean like just in chat today, I mean like in general. One thing for sure is we need to fix our voting systems. We got all sorts of problems on that front. Oh wait, we have a lot of dried meat. Holy moly. That's amazing. Can we stop putting wax here? Wax is not meant to be stored there, so okay. Actually, wax is meant to be stored here. No, honeycombs are meant to be stored here. I would also really like to just... Well, that was a whoops. Just click clear all. God damn. What have I done? Honeycombs. Raw foods. This has to be like low? Why did I delete it? I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. Vegetarian, not apothecary herbs. No flour. No honey, no fat. Eggs. I'll let them move unfertilized eggs in here because, God, if they don't, you know, I should let them put unfertilized eggs in these storage containers as well. Hopefully they just put them on the shelves, you know. Mixed economy. Nazi war economy was a mixed economy combined with free markets and central plannings. A renowned modern historian of the NASDAQ described it as being somewhat in between the command economy of Soviet and the capitalism system of the United States. They had a mixed economy? Oh. Mona was in the bookcase. She's freaking out. She's having a weird morning. My cat has poop on her butt this morning, and she is just going from hiding place to hiding place, being uncomfortable. in a much different theme than talking about the economic policies of the Nazi Party of Germany of World War II. Instead, I can talk about the poop on my cat's butt. Chad is much smarter than me. VM, I really don't know if you're trolling right now or if you're being for real, but they, the Nazi parties were not leftist parties, dudes. They were like, you can, I think probably ask any history book, and they will pretty clearly describe them as like ultra right authoritarian. You're looking a bit of a fool. And I'm interested in you to explain yourself, you know? I don't want anybody to gang up on you, but that statement is definitely why I think very factually any, you know, academic historian will tell you pretty vehemently that that's not correct. Masterwork. Wow, look at all these masterwork shelves. Thank God we have this masterwork storage system. Boy. What do I want in here? Armor. We're storing a lot of armor out here, and I wonder, should we not sell our armor? Instead, just sell tailored clothing here? I think I'm going to do that. Because I don't really want to lose all my armor. So that's what we're going to say. We're going to say that for right now. And then we're going to paste that there, and there. And these are going to have weapons. And I think that'll be okay. People can ignore a social contract and then you don't tolerate them. I mean, that's the in theory, but it gets a bit more complicated when there are people on different sides of the social. I mean, one of the big issues we have right now, right, is like people believe in one thing and then they spend their time in like Facebook groups, for example, where they only hear, like, all of the people around them are echo chamber. Like, the internet is built as a massive echo chamber right now, or an outrage chamber, right? But typically it'll spit in outrage but keep you in your echo. And this is a big problem, is that like people think a certain way and then they think everyone thinks this way because everything I see online aligns with what I say. And that starts to become very, very complicated. I often notice this as someone who used to spend a lot of time on Reddit. I'm not on Reddit anymore, but I used to be on Reddit a lot. And I remember certain events happening and being like, well, there's no way that this will happen because every single thing says this is going to happen. And then realizing, like, absolutely not the case. Like, without a doubt, we've gone into like situations where it's like, oh no, Reddit was just a massive echo chamber and is not like true of the whole populace, because it was only like parts of Reddit I was seeing, and like the majority of Reddit is like a very specific voting block and everything else. This is why I find some sort of like the politics of like the Liberal Party in Canada I find very interesting, because I disagree with a lot of things that they've done, but I also know that they're playing the center, right? And it's a very complicated thing, because it's like, well, how do you decide what the right choice is? Like, they're trying to appease to all Canadians, not just the Canadians that I agree with, you know? And there's groups that agree more with me and there's groups that agree less, but you know, how do you balance the needs of multiple groups of different people? Scarlet Trigger, thank you for the Prime sub. I hope you're enjoying our very intense political conversation, which is a bit unusual this morning. It happens every now and then. welcome. Welcome to the agency. Thank you for the primer. I hope you're having a good day. Worst thing any ideology can do to spread further the point is demonize anyone who disagrees with them. Yeah, and this is why like I don't mind talking about things like politics, because like I like to think of myself as a very logically rooted person who I love hearing from other people. Even like VM saying like, oh, I think that these groups are left leaning. I'm like, okay, I want to know why you think that, because like as long as everybody is arguing in good faith, and not even arguing, discussing in good faith, I would say, because we're all adults here. We can all discuss concepts. I think it's important to like have those spaces, right? Even if I disagree with you on things, I can still have a conversation with you. I think that's important. I talked to a guy. I was out at like a jazz show a while ago, and a guy got on to me on we got into politics at one point. This guy just was sitting next to me, and everything was going fine until he started being like, that's why 9/11 was an inside job. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, I gotta know. I gotta hear this. Like, I gotta get into this with this guy. I didn't like call him out on anything. I wasn't like, you're a moron. You're a lunatic. But I was really curious if I just gave him the room, where he would go with it. And I think that's important. That's important. You vote NDP in Canada? I mean, good. I think that's a good... At this point, I think nobody wants the Conservatives in Canada. Personally, this is my opinion. Like, my personal opinion is I think that nobody really is happy with the Liberals. I think the Conservatives are like a dangerous thing in Canada right now, because of how like the rise of far-right extremism that we've seen kind of like flooding in across the border. I don't think that the NDP are very good, but I'm also like, well, let's give them a shot, you know? Let's see what they do. They might be able to get some major changes in that we would like to see. It's hard to say. I'm still very mad about the, you know, I voted for Trudeau when he first ran because he ran on electoral reform. And then he didn't do that. And I'm still very upset about it. As many Canadians are. As I think the bulk of Canadians are. This path is not correct. Ah, well. It's shorter on one side than it is on the other. My symmetry! Whoa. We also got to do something here. This is almost done. I love it. Look, I'm just like queuing things up to build now, and they're just getting done. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. This is going to need to be cleaned, but not yet. Once this is done, oh my God, we can finally do the actual entrance to this place. I'm actually going to move that scorpion right now. Critical alert risk. Never a good sign. Sarah Newton, if you don't mind, just while we're here. Faye Lynn is on a critical bike risk. What are you carrying? Jade. Oh, that's right. I told people to come up here and mine all this jade so that we can make jewelry out of it. We should get a raid today. Also, we're extremely overdue for one. Even our longest spaced ones are like only a day or two away. So I'm very eager to see if we hit one. This is cool. This is coming along. Sand, soft sand. I was correct about this. They're going to dig down to sand instead of soft sand, which is actually easier to walk across. I guess technically, maybe that does make sense. If you dug underneath, like a beach is hard to walk on, but if you dug down until it just became hard sand, it would probably be easier to walk across. All right, game, I forgive you. I'll believe you. Large part of why Trump got elected was so many people centrist to slightly right felt ostracized and voted for him in reaction. Yeah, I mean, he got voted in on memes more than anything else, right? So lizard people, I decide to leave. But the lizard people are already running our governments. Main reason Trump got elected is that Hillary was not left enough. Yeah, maybe. I think a large reason why he got elected is because people were just like, wow, everyone was just like, I'm fed up. All the choices suck. This guy's going to do something insane. Let's see what he does. And then everyone was like, oh, no, wait, that was a bad idea. we shouldn't have done that. Turns out that was not what we wanted to have happen. But now we know. Everyone's just like fed up because they don't have control over the situation, right? And the politics is so corrupt, and voting is so corrupt, and gerrymandering, and yada 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 yada. You know. Polish sources. Liberals got the weed thing done. They did get that done. I think that was getting done no matter who got in charge, to be honest. Even the conservatives were like, there's a lot of money in that. Interesting, here in the UK, we had very centralist Labour Party in power in the 90s, early 2000s, that the party is now fighting itself more than their opposition because there's a schism between new Labour and old Labour, completely paralyzing them. Currently in power, party conservatives right are going, yeah, so we also have a little like party splitty dynamics happening time and time again here. The Conservative Party, which is like our right-leaning party, they had a split a couple of years back around the time of a little bit before Trump, where they formed, I think it was called like the Rose Party, Wild Rose or something, which was like extremist, right? And they took a lot of crazy people with them, but they don't really exist anymore. And so now they're all kind of like folding back in, and the conservatives have like pushed further right than normal to try and pick them up. We got a lot of like freedom-loving American Trumpists in Canada, which is very confusing because we're like, that's not our country. We have different laws surrounding things like freedom of speech. There's some hungry duckies, but I think they're okay. Only 2 people in tattered apparel. It's this armor. That would lead me to believe that Blander's armor has been destroyed. It has. One more padded flat top. Can we make armor? Didn't we learn how to make chainmail? Hauberk? Herberk? Splinted gloves as well. Ooh, splinted chaussures. We're gonna need to make some armor. Female. Hauberk. I don't know how many of these we need to make. It's probably gonna be a lot. I'm gonna put them above the horse armor because let's get real. Crafting 5. Crafting 9. And chocolate is crafting 14. Not chimley. I don't want Turg making this, so I'm going to say crafting 9. I want to make sure we at least have good armor. Hillary was played like she was going to win and no one was worried. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody really thought Trump seriously getting elected at the beginning. We all kind of like joked about it, like, oh yeah, oh, he's totally going to win. And then we were like, wait, no, we think he is totally going to win. It was a real like, wait a minute. Oh no. We were serious about that. We take it back. We take it back. I love how our storage room doesn't even have very much storage in it anymore. Like there's not really that much. It's such random stuff being put in here. The bone mold mostly. A random flat top. That I'd actually appreciate not being stored there. Can I hide this? Clear this? How do I do unfinished? Let's try that. someone's going to unfinish something, I'd rather it be at least nearby. Even that pigs are starting to serve. Lots of voter apathy. Yeah, I mean, voting turnout is like the lowest it's ever been in years and years. Things will get interesting. Problem to understand, but there are also certain, how do I put it, historical preconceptions in a country like Poland. Yeah, there's, you also have to be aware of bias in reading academic sources, right? Like that's a big part of doing a master's in critical thinking, is like you have to be aware of who is writing what on all sides of the spectrum, to be clear. Purdue study that showed in the US in the past 30 years, public opinion has zero effect on laws. Yeah, I mean, corporations are the one who decides laws now, at least in America. The Freedom Convoy was backed by right-wing American super PACs. Yes, and Russian oligarchs. There's like hard evidence of this. Extreme right party called the BNP basically does not exist anymore. And I'm quoting the ex-leader of the party. Why join us when the conservatives are doing everything we wanted to anyway? Yeah, so that's kind of what happened with us. Our extreme right, which was Wild Rose, just kind of blended back into conservatism. But conservatism also pushed a little right for it. Gordy, good evening. Hello. Obama said he wanted to change gun law, which didn't happen. Trump failed to do a lot more extreme ideas. US, the power is not really with the president. It's not, right? And that's like, there's like really scary stuff that happens with like Supreme Court judges, and the way that like a lot of the right-wing parties in North America, at the very least, they're playing in the long game, and the long game is like really dangerously looking in their favor. 50 years, either way, I think people are seeing all the attempts to disfranchise the unsatisfied voter. Failing to be anyone who is disenfranchised has already been. I mean, a big part of this is like we don't have anybody good running for politics, right? We do not get our best people in politics. Severe snowstorm and a Dorgon. Oh, a white dragon who came alongside a blizzard. Isn't that fitting? Native to the coldest climates and extremely territorial. They try to ward off all who attempt to observe them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Please stay in the forest. %20 is not bad. I'm a little worried about the way it described that. Yeah, I mean, Newton's observing him. Doesn't look like any big problem. I like this blizzard. It's cute. NSDP had elements of dirigest? I do not know that word. I'm going to be honest. Such a step is necessary to gear up to the war economy. Market economy facets still show through in things like widespread deregulation of companies, mass privatization of social services, developed a partnership with leading German business interests who supported the goals of the regime. Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated thing, because it's like companies also like had to join the NSDP, like the Nazi party, to continue operating in Germany at the time. But it's also like they could have also just left Germany. You know, it was like the government was like, you have to join our party, and people were like, well, your party is rounding up and committing genocide. Your party is doing really dangerous things. So a lot of people are like, oh, well, they had no choice. And it's like, well, no. The people put in the ghettos had no choice. But the company owners certainly did have a choice, and they sided with money. They were like, well, we're okay with these ethical qualms if we're allowed to continue doing business. This is actually a bit of a hard spot for me. I worked for an art gallery who shortly before I quit, showed the works of a Nazi photographer and really tried to play it off as being like he was one of the good ones. And I was like, this is very against my morals. And then I quit like the next month, and I had to be like, you showed a bunch of Nazi artwork here, and apologized for it. For the Nazi, not for doing anything. Like, this is really, I'm not even gonna get into this anymore. This is a art world. The art world's corrupt. Nobody good wants to run for politics. Yeah, no, it's true. D&D, white dragons, I believe, are the least intelligent and most feral ones. You are correct. You are not wrong. That is true in D&D. Which I think this mod takes a lot from. Well, the timber is stacking back up. The wood, not so much. Okay, I see why nothing is getting done. Who is my manager? I clearly took somebody off of managing. I think it was Blairel. I reduced her managing. And now, lovely Dr. Sean, who is meant to be doing the research, should also start the day by managing the books. Yeah, and learning a lesson. Is anybody teaching you a lesson? It sure doesn't look like it. Oh, yeah, man. Look, this is also why we don't have any meat. None of the cows, none of the animals were being auto-slaughtered. Also, all of our forestry jobs here. Blairel is coming to teach this lesson? Amazing. What are you teaching him? Persuasion. Oh, that's a great thing for him to learn. As a druid. I guess. Yes, no, I did the analytics a while back. It was shorthanded on time. Showed the same thing. Violent crime, sexual harassment, child crime rates, and those under criteria. I couldn't find a difference between any legislation period in the US. Yeah, it gets a bit depressing to think about the state of everything sometimes. I will say that. But I will also say I don't think society in many years has ever been as like publicly upset about the state of everything as they are now. If we are to have a revolution, I believe it will be in our lifetime. And that I feel like is a good thing. I mean, it's a shame we have to have a revolution in the first place, but, you know, if things aren't fixed, something's gotta be done. What am I building in here? This is meant to be the barracks for the archers. So, what can I actually fit? 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure, a couple end tables. Do I want to make these out of wood or marble? I guess the marble we should be saving for other things. I'm gonna put little rustic chests at the bottom of each of their beds because that's a cute little thing we can do. I don't know that a dresser would do anything in here. Obviously, it will make some of these better than the others. I could put some medicine in here. You know what? I could do small candles. Is there anything we want on this edge? I feel like this is a great room for something in this little 3 slot. You know, if I didn't build a door here. Hear me out. Hear me out. If I didn't build a door there. Well, that doesn't really make sense, does it? Now nobody can reach those chests. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Paper states fascism in Italy and Germany features blah 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 blah. 2 total regimes. What can I say? These totalitarians do not contain right-wing elements. Holistic national third way ideology. Considered right-wing ideology today, as many of the things its champions are now deeply ingrained in right-wing ideals. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's also a big question is like, how has our perception of something like fascism changed? Or dictatorships changed as well over, well, I guess dictatorships haven't really changed, but what we might have considered fascism back in whenever that paper was written versus now may be wildly different. They might also not be. I don't know. I haven't read the papers, so. But it's something to think about and consider. You know what we could use this marble floor is a really cool little palazzo. We could make... That'd be such a bougie little addition. Make a little like stone park right here for the traders. We also have this weird leftover space that I think we're just going to extend out into a bigger building. I might put an outhouse here as well. I got to be careful because I also need ramps up to the walls, which is something we haven't really figured out. Newton's brother from House Ambrose is showing up. Joyous. Can't just leave it. You need to completely redesign the whole building wall area to make it work better. That's the Rimworld way. Listen, we did not have the resources for that. I like your thought, but it's not... No, sir. You can get rid of that, though. Look at all that jade, Poppy. Can we do anything with it? Jade rings. Jade necklaces. Sure, man. I love how this house is just permanently covered in drawings. Like, nobody ever cleans it. Okay. The animal starvation is getting bad. The birch forest is planted. The tree cutting job has started again, so... Not really seeing a lot of trees getting cut. It's gonna be a bit of a journey, especially in this terrible snow, but... I'm a little bit concerned. It's so funny. All these pigs have just been slaughtered and left in the field, and all the other pigs are just eating them. Well, actually, that's solving one of my problems, so... Oh, right. This grazing livestock was killing us because we didn't have any flour. We didn't have any vegetables, I mean. What are we eating? We're eating smoked meat, carnivore meals, and fried eggs. This flour... For some reason, these bags of flour, these sacks of flour, only seem to be able to store 1 of 4 stacks. So, we do need a more permanent place to store flour. As long as these are unimportant, that's unpreferred. Don't move them out of here. I mean, it's not like I'm running out of food. We got tons of milk. We got tons of cheese. We got tons of dried meat. We're not running out of food. The animals, on the other hand, can be. Now, remember if it was 30 or 50 years ago, it was either with Reagan or the proliferation of television and politics that started it. Yeah, there's a lot of issues starting around Reagan's time. 1 or 2 issues starting around old Reagan's time, that's for certain. I can afford to make more of you. Smoothed marble wall. Can I make marble walls? I know I have a mod that lets me do it, but I don't know if I have the research. I don't think I do. Something that has occurred to me that I've been wanting to look up is hinges and gates. Q. We'll do that next. I think I'd really like to build a gate here. In the hopes that it forces people in the correct way. You guys are starting to get malnutrition because you got no food. Look at this, man. We got big cows up here just like waiting to be ate. An annual hexpo. The author says in that paper he's specifically investigating which parts of the left ideals they used in their politics. It doesn't claim that they are left-wing or right-wing. Instead, it looks at what program they did and asks what inspired by the left. Ah, okay. There you go. Makes a bit more sense. Similarities between fascism, Nazism, Leninist Russia pertain more to methods of governance and control rather than ideological alignment on the left-right spectrum. Yeah. Yeah. And I think you could probably say a lot of that even to places like Maoist China as well. Is that the economy I feel is trickling down on me, or am I still getting pissed on? Oh, don't worry. You're still just getting pissed on. These dudes got nothing to eat. Oh, they also don't have fireplaces. Are you freezing to death out here? It's chilly. But your wicker bed at -10 degrees is keeping you warm. How warm? I'm not sure. Oh, when did I unlock boats? Boats! What are they under? Vehicles? Yeah, look, galleons. I wonder if we could sail. I wonder if we could sail to sea on these boats. Probably not. We're not on a river of any kind. I'd have a lot of questions if we could sail to sea. You're feeding this duck a carnivore meal. Oh man, if he's okay with it. Quack, quack. Means of control, cult of personality, utilitarian adoption of policy, ideological flexibility, power consolidation, tactics over ideology. Yeah. Come to the same conclusion. So many choices of power consolidation. Realistic choice of reaching that goal. Yeah, and I mean, I think we see a lot of... I mean, we saw people like Trump, who was like really interested in the way that these parties maintain control, right? And we started seeing elements of their systems coming up. Sorry, what is this guy's sword? It looks baller. A steel greatsword. I love this guy's drip. Buffalo wool padded vest. Bison wool royal tunic. A steel gilded full plate. Bird leather trousers. Steel plate boots. Iron plate chaussures. He is wearing a cowbell, unfortunately. I really hate that this Xenotype Ruse Minotaur Xenotype mod adds cowbell in and adds it like on its own slot that everybody wears all of the time. This guy also somehow has a grenade launcher. Vanilla weapons expanded. I think I will take off this mod list because it is problematic for certain reasons. To sail the rocks, sandbenders. I love that idea. Boats on sand in desert is one of my favorite weird like science fiction things. I think it's a very fun look. Otherwise, just for the aesthetic. Yeah, I'll be honest. Actually, I've in a test save, I loaded those boats in and they don't look very good. So I'm not going to build them. They just look out of place with all the other mods. They don't have quite the right look. I don't know what I'm going to put these as. I guess for now, you know what we could do? I'm looking for rustic furniture. For now, this could be the flop house. That's fine. I don't need those sheep. So we can charge $30 rooms for the inn, $10 rooms there, and then free rooms out here. Oh my god, a bunch of ducks got born. All right, I'm very, very glad that this has been built, and it looks like we have fresh granite coming in, slowly but surely. I would like to work on the outer wall. Which is complicated because of how I've got this set up. Let's start with these. I have no wood whatsoever. God damn, I can't even build new palisade walls. I need to put the walls out so that we can safely... There's no way I'm just going to rip down walls and leave holes even for a split second. Just something I am simply unwilling to do. Too much beans in your body? Oh, I don't think so. A cabbie, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. Last sentence in the summary says it was more left than right in roots. Ah, it might be in the roots, though. The roots is very different, right? What it actually ends up being versus the roots can be two different things. Dr. Sean is going to have a very successful surgery if they decide to have a surgery. Let's look at this. He's like, I gotta study this bone mold. And Yan's like, man, I'll watch you study some bone mold. This kid is so cute. I love it. Chainsaw Hunter, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. Great name. Come on in. Welcome to our medieval colony. The stage. Oh my God. Where are we gonna put this deer rug now? Uh-oh. Unless where is recreation? There it is. This is gonna take a lot of marble, I bet. 150, actually, that's not that bad. Ah, yeah, it really doesn't fit well between them, does it? Arse. We gotta find somewhere for this. Oh, why don't you fit anywhere? Does she have... Oh, that's her bow. I was like, does she have a tail? What am I seeing here? Tending to a bull. That's really not what I need you doing. What happened? We have a plague. Oh, yeah. Actually, maybe that is what we need you doing. Masterwork bed, masterwork end table. I love how this barracks is like all masterwork quality bedrooms. Like, this is going to be the nicest military flop house ever. It's a slightly impressive guest room. Does Yan have a massive beard? It's a mask. It's a mask. Kids can't wear a lot of facial things, it seems, but they can wear veils. So apparently they do. Is he going to be an intellectual kid? He's going to try to be a druid is the plan, so. There are doubts if it is more left than right. That is not reaching a conclusion. Security for nobles one day. This is the goblin raid. Yeah, again. Goblins. Two raids. Well, hold on here. Two raids of 16, 21, 30, and 12 wargs. I don't know what siege noblins mean, but I don't love the idea of that. Heavy soldiers, 12 wargs. Hostile visitors present. Labor team's almost ready. 12 honors a lot. We could probably get Turg up to a Baron with 12 honor. It's just where we're remaking this wall. I think I'm gonna be a coward a little bit longer. I promise my cowardom is almost finished, but unfortunately it's not yet. It's almost finished. I'm almost done being a coward. Can't take what a paper says as gospel, must apply their own thinking to it. Yes, critical thinking is very important. Use many of these methods to exert control. They're precisely things done to exert control over the governed. Fair argument to be made that these are more an ideology of control than anything else. I mean, I think that's one of the things I'm really trying to say here as well, is like, it's all about critical thinking, right? And this is why I don't mind talking about these things, is because I like to engage in critical thought, especially with everybody here. Clean, clean, clean. Gate. Excellent. Okay, so this is the other big thing, is that I now have access to gates. These are not the gates I'm looking for. Where are they? They must be under structure. Oh, here we go. Gate 2.1. 2 by 1. 2.1. I was a bit worried about that. So the other option is Castle Gate. This is a 3 by 1. It is unfortunately of a different design. And I don't have any granite right now, but I could put in a marble castle gate right here. I guess this is what I'm going to have to do. We can put it right to the edge. We're going to need a lot of stuff for that. I don't know how that's going to look either. I might build it and then be like, I hate this. Let's scrap it. But I'd like for this side to be hard gated and this side to be open. And the intention for that is that any enemies that show up would go through the main gate. For some reason, my bridge got destroyed. It looks like it maybe burned down in a flash storm, which I believe, because none of this is under my home area, so. Paper spends a lot of ink asserting fascism's ambiguous nature, and then at the end turns around and says its origin is left wing. Validate the source is not helpful in this context for me to stay in the discussion. Not apply any mental exercise or understanding of this critical thinking, or even checking the argumentation line are not possible. Follow thoughts or permissions. Yeah, I mean, it's also like, I guess maybe one thing that I would note is like kind of what you said already, which is like one paper is not a gospel, right? One can always find a single source for any argument, you know, no matter what you're trying to argue. You can probably find a single paper that will say like what you want to say. It is important to be able to look at like the greater contextual research around a point, is the argument I would make. That makes sense? I think that makes sense. We got a lot of starving ducks. I'm a bit worried about this winter, but there's also only 3 days left of it. So, yeah. This plague has caused a bit of an issue. But everyone is mostly bouncing back from it. Worst case, I maybe lose a few cows. Can always make more cows. Yay! The kitchen is, the storage is finally cleaned. We have lots of bread. You make ambrosia. We have no cheese out right now. I'm going to clear you, and I'm going to say cheese. Of good quality or greater. I will also give you grilled cheese, which I keep forgetting we can do. Starve a pawn to death. Can't we grill cheese? We're still working on that one, aren't we? Intermediate cooking. Boy, man, I could have sworn we had grilled cheese in here. But I am clearly mistaken. We do have grilled skewers, which is fun. Look at this. We have 60 spices. Why are we making so slow, guys? We need 100 spices. Damn. That's a lot. Everybody is asleep right now? Yes. Here I'm trying to look at everything when there's nothing to be looked at. Bones, first to wake up. He comes down here. He eats his cheese. Day in the life of Bones. He gets out of bed straight to the mines with you. Bones loves a good mining. Why are you on Exalted Medicine? Why is... Interesting. Only 2 of them were on Exalted Med. Ooh, we also have late medieval medicines as well. We have a lot of herbal meds. This is great. Our hospital's looking pretty nice. You just don't like it when the left says everything bad is right wing? I mean, sure, that's fair. I think it's there's a real jump for everybody nowadays to be like, you're a Nazi, and it doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you're on. Like, people jump to that really fast, and that is fair. But I think it's definitely worth noting that, like, yeah, it in the case of something like fascism is a right-leaning thing, historically, traditionally. Who doesn't have a bedroom? I'm very confused by this. Everybody has a bedroom, don't they? Who is the jeweler? We don't have a jeweler. Hamish is starving. Only a little bit. Stressed out about all of our animals dying. I really don't want to open the gate again, because if I do, like last time they ate all the food that was here, if I open the gate again, they're going to like basically wander to the forest. Porcupine. Dragon is still here, and he is very hungry. Same card in reverse by the right wing. Yeah, I mean, that's all I'm saying, right? Is we got people on both sides of the spectrum that constantly, like, immediately jump to, oh, you're a Nazi. I think it's an easy argument to make, is the thing. And I'm not trying to say that being, and I don't think any of us are trying to say, like, I don't think being right-leaning means you're a Nazi or a fascist. Most of the time, at least in our current political climate, it just means that you are, like, more financially motivated than anything else, right? Like, that tends to be what the conservative thing is. The conservatives are always about the economy. And unfortunately, they are also very much about often terrible things for the economy, because they're just trying to, like, rob it for their own buddies. At least in my country, you know. It varies from place to place. Make a forest frame? A forest frame? We have a little forest here. And we have a little forest up here. And they're growing, but trees take like a couple of seasons to grow. So it's a couple of years to grow, actually. I should be harvesting stuff down here. Ooh, the best fight. Worm versus dragon. We've seen this one a few times. This is not the first time this worm has fought a dragon in the haunted forest. You need to do what you need to do, yeah. Could be called the right wing and left wing representative all making the same statement. I watched it happen once or twice and it almost happened to me. Def agree on that. Yeah, I think we're all saying same things. Conservatives are about no change, keeping things as they used to be, as I see it. A lot of the time, yeah. And I see what you're saying there. Yeah, they tend to lean towards like more traditional values. Which unfortunately ends up meaning in like our very modern, rapidly evolving world since the 1990s, basically since the invention of the internet. This guy also has serious hypothermia. I didn't realize this. He might also win this fight. It's very hard to say. Oh, no, he's dead. Or he's given up. I'm not sure. Yeah, in our like rapidly evolving world with things like gender norms and whatnot, we end up having an issue with that because it's like people are like, well, people didn't used to be, a man used to be a man and a woman used to be a woman. And it's like, well, okay, slow down there, Grandpa. And because of that, we have a lot of like conservatives who tend to then be like, okay, well, let's put in policies in place which are controlling based policies, which is often like at least why in modern terms a lot of like right-leaning people are seen as more fascist, is because they tend to be like, we're going to go towards these things that are a bit problematic. I'm going to try to steal this corpse from this dragon. I'm really doing two things at once here. Many conservatives are older. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it tends to be why like young voters tend to vote much left, much further left, because left is more about change. I think, yeah, you really kind of nailed it there, Reinforcer. Older left-wingers are not seen as right-wing now. Times change, but their viewpoint remains the same when it was conceived. Yeah, I mean, people, yeah, we don't often see a lot of change in viewpoint. This guy ate his scorpion tail. That is badass. He also bit his neck off. Dude, this dragon's a beast. Somebody get in there. Steal that. We'll get some cool leather out of that. Nice, and I see trees are being cut down here. We have no storage space for this dead worm. Is that correct? It is. Blender. You're making bread. I would like you to make butcher, because that's your main job. Frostbite that killed it with the hypothermia, yeah. Only thing constant is change. Death and taxes. And change, I guess. Your car got 300 rods to the hog's head. That's how I like it. Back then, we used to call a nickel a bumblebee. Give 5 bees for a quarter, we'd say. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, that's right. We used to wear an onion on our belt because that was the style at the time. I love 5 bees for a quarter. I wish we had more bees on our money. Blairel. 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 Get out of there. Just slowly palisading herself in. Actually, I would say rapidly palisading herself in. All right, somebody's got to get down here. Chop them block. You're grabbing a horse and picking up that worm body. I appreciate that, chocolate, though I don't love the idea of you leaving town like that. Then again, you were kind of my best armor, dude. Bones loves digging. 12. Spider loves spiderling. I can't believe how many trolls we have. Okay, we only have a couple animals in bad shape. I'm stressed about Hamish. having malnutrition. Because he's a big boy. So if he gets hungry, he's going to have to eat a lot to get better. All these plagues are doing fine, though, which I'm very glad to see. People on the left wing was like 60 years ago are seen now is right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, it's constantly shifting down. It's called progress. Blairell likes it in there. I just want to be enclosed. Encase me within the earth, papa. I probably shouldn't get rid of that one yet. Not until that wall is done. Where are you bringing that wood? Up here. Oh, man, we are real bad on wood. Thank God we planted these forests, like, in recent years. Because we're gonna need them like crazy. Like, so much so, I'm actually wondering whether or not I shouldn't have this take up even more of this field. If these hay stacks work, I won't need so much food here. You know, a big part of this, of course, is like, as we build and we grow, we have like more things that need to be filled. Lanterns and lamps and fireplaces and everything else, but also like we run out of more and more tree production. And that also has to be considered. Blocks. You're making timber, which is Fei Lin's job. What is Fei Lin doing? You're making bone mold. Oh, sweet summer child. Let's stop doing that. Oh, you're on like infinite supply. That's why. She's allowed to make bone mold, but only with bones that are in here. What do you do now? You're cutting up some sheep? I guess so. Look at all these damn animals in here, dudes. Meat racks are full, at least. Nobody's starving to death. Except the animals. Hamish found a meal. Bubba, you're harvesting trees. That is kind of your job, actually. Maybe... Yeah, it's the end of the day. Never mind, nothing's getting done. Everyone's going to go to the pub. The stage. The stage. The market looks super cool. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with it. It turned out very well. Can I adjust you maybe to be like that? I think that works. I kind of like the drums here, but I feel like it would be better suited to there. They're going to share an interaction point. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Need an extra field that's growing grass farmland that can be turned into a grazing area that's needed. So there's actually a grass field here. So this is tall grass. And then this is kind of open. And then this is kind of open. Part of the reason is because I need trees. Reading through a lot of problems with that paper. It states many things the NSDP did. Blah, 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 blah. Historically accurate, the focus on these aspects might overshadow other components that were essential to the movements. Again, one of the important things is like you have to look at who wrote a paper, who funded a paper, who published a paper. These are all things in proper academics that like you need to examine to ensure that like the things are being said properly. Man, we made all these guest rooms and the only one staying with us is Isis. Oh no. What about this room? Sally's, Walter, Flossie. Everyone's just going for the free tents. Nobody wants to stay in the inn. Nobody wants to stay in the flop house. Everyone wants to cheap out. And they're just like, oh, we'll stay in the tents. I guess it's a medieval society, so what do you expect? It's also the middle of winter, so. They expected more from you. Well, maybe if they didn't sleep in the freezing cold tents. The problem with this as well is now they won't come back anytime soon. And I need them to come back now. I need them to stay here and dig my moat. This is what I need. Politics, bad topic if you want to have fun. Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of beat it to death at this point. So we can move on. I don't want anyone to feel sad about it. Malnutrition. Whoops. Are we still playing this silly game? Yeah, we were playing Payday 3 earlier, but unfortunately the matchmaking is very, very broken right now. So we were playing it for a while and then we spent, I don't know, like 20 minutes trying to join a game and we couldn't join a game and we couldn't join a game and the matchmaking was failed. The matchmaking was failed. And I just said like, all right, well, why are we wasting time? Like, let's move on. Nice. I was going to put candles in here, but this hearth actually lights the whole area. Medical emergency RAM. Extreme malnutrition. Never knew Rimworld was about politics. Rimworld is about making hats out of people. That's what Rimworld's about. A cave troll is hunting a German Shepherd for food. Well, I have bad news for that German Shepherd. Is anybody else around? No, it's really only Bones that's here. Now, Bones is a pretty good fighter. His blunt armor is not very good, though, and that's what that troll is going to do. We really should tame this troll. I could get Blander down here. It's one of these things that if Bones had a bow, he could shoot the troll and scare it off, but he doesn't. And everyone else is kind of far away from the walls. Chat went a bit wild on it earlier. Yeah, we got into some pretty heavy chats, but it was good. They were healthy. What are we doing on these bricks? Not good. You know what I could have done is turned him to Noble District and seen if he could have gotten by that. Oh, are we gonna do it? Oh, okay. Now we're in trouble. Oh, actually, Blair, you're good with a bow. I could just get you down there. Chocolate, you better come down. Bubba. You're really far away. Where the hell is everybody? Are they all out in the field? Aha. You're building the bridge. Well, Turk, that's good. At least you're nearby. Phelan is in the marketplace, so they could probably get over here. Flu Viral's taking a bath. They could get up. Polpanzer's way far. Cassie's way far. Blairy's on the way. Newton is pretty way far. I'm worried about this for Bones. I'm actually going to maybe... That's my workforce. Pawn. Bones mastered Venom Wire. Is that the name of your sword? Cool. Melee hit chance 1%. Well, that's not great, but it's a very good sword. And he named it Venom Wire, which is a super baller name for a sword. That dog is dead in 4 hours. Mystic weapon summon? Are you using like a persona weapon? No. You're just using the professor. Is this because you have magical attunement 5 that you can cast this spell? Animation. Uh-oh. It is. 100%. Where's Tulpanzer? Where's Bones? Bones, you are not in immediate danger. Actually, what's Turg's healing? 11. You're downed. Mana exhaustion coma. Cool. Cool as hell. Bones, rescue Turk. Flu Viral, Blander, Blairy. I want you to stabilize. Y'all are good, y'all are good, y'all are good. Chocolate, you're off duty. Blairy, you're stabilizing. Bones, you're saving. Death in 2 hours. I don't know, Davey. He doesn't have many wounds, which is the good news. So he actually, yeah, might be fine. You can rescue. Awesome. We'll get some cave troll stuff as well. Okay, clearly Turg has given up on that flat top, so I'm gonna destroy it so that Bubba can work on it. But we didn't lose a dog, which is good news. Turg is being saved by Bones. Bones is like got bit in the leg. Probably because he's only wearing like sheep trousers. No room for this cave troll. Blander. Dude, I love that you're just always here. Making bread. All day, every day. Can we maybe... Just realized we're on intermediate cooking again, which we actually can't do any progress on. If we could get that windmill researched, Cassie and Blander would have so much more time on their hands. Ultimate spells will make yourself faint for how many days until mana is back. You can try to tame next time to train his mana to increase its mana. Yeah. Turk can do when he levels up this. We could spend points in that. We've been upgrading his main tree because it's like so good, and he's about to get Guardian Skip Barrier. One thing that I've noticed is like, no, you're starting to get a little bit of a little bit of stuff here. I'd like Phelan to be spending a little bit of time meditating, because otherwise they're never going to level up their abilities. And it would be nice. I love that Bubba is finally making armor. We don't love that nobody is working on all this granite. Or I guess they're starting to work on all this granite. I don't know how to phrase this. What's Flu doing? He's working on the Marble Theater stage. Turg is knocked out cold. Newton is working on the bridge. Blah. What a waste. Did we tame a giant spider? We did. Yeah. We have a female giant spider. Excuse me, dire boar. What are you doing? 50% chance. No. Someone's going to eat you. It's probably going to be this troll. We do have a giant spider. You can see like the webs left around in the middle of town. Unfortunately, we didn't get her a mate. So we're hoping for more giant spiders soon. Perfect. You're automatically deconstructing that stuff for me. Yay, Blood Moon, my favorite. Wait a minute. Actually, this could be bad. We have a Hemotroll. One of the moons of the planet is orbited into the umbra, blocking all direct sunlight from illuminating the moon. A phenomenon known as the blood moon. Sanguiphage mechanites will go into overdrive, driving hemogen-starved blood feeders out of their cave. Any blood feeder sanguiphage with more than half hemogen supply gone will enter a hemo hunter mental state. So that should actually be fine, because this guy produces hemogen, but he doesn't need it. It's just like milk to him. Oh, I'd really appreciate it if you just did that instead. Another flat top. Is there a claim for the next child if there's going to be a next child? We don't have anybody preggers right now. I think everybody in the colony is named. Yeah, they are. At the moment. All right. This is going to go donk, 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 donk. This is going to go donk, 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 donk. And when that's done, we can dismantle this turret and these walls. This is a jam. Passenger? Good song. Man, I love how the town looks during a blood moon. It's so good. Do I want this to be a spot where people meet? It's a flop house. Probably not. Always ask. No, it's fair. Yeah. I'm actually getting to mess around with some of the Twitch toolkit stuff that we did the other week. There is some really cool stuff that I can start integrating, so that people can just enter a queue, and I can actually like pull up a little menu here and just say like rename visitor, or like rename person, or even rename animals. And there's another one that's really funny, because like if someone is named after someone in chat, they'll actually like anytime they speak in chat, they'll get a little speech bubble above their head that says what they say in chat. That's another really cute one that I'm thinking about putting in. Jury's undecided. Oh, interesting. It's got like a play space, but it's also got these like 3 spots next to it for, I guess, people to listen. This one does not have it. Weird. This is going to take an insane amount of work. Why does this cost 6,346? This isn't a prototype. This is the actual regular thing. It's taking more to build that theater than it is to take this hot spring. Oscar, what is your balancing, my dude? That's crazy. It's a stage. It should be the equivalent of building 4 floor tiles. Or 6 floor tiles. Well, this is coming along. Group from the central public are visiting. Ooh, quite a lot of them. 9. Amazing. Happy to see that. Egg. Oops, not you. The more that goes up, the better for us. Gives more time for our archers to shoot things. I'm really curious where all these visitors are going to go. Now that we have 3... We actually have 4 different options because we even have one of these bedrooms is available for 50. So we have a lot of places for people to stay. They're all going to go into the temple and then out of the temple and then straight to the palace to pay their respects. Everybody into Turg's bedroom. Okay, that's where they decided to go. Looks like these 4 are going to the flop house and these 4 are going to the tents. Cheap ass. Damn, dudes. Is that it? People can only afford $10 beds. Here we go. Y'all even bring money? 12 silver. 18 silver. 10 silver. 16 silver. Well, at least they have a bit of money to shop. Can we instigate social fights and so on? Can you deactivate certain commands? I can make it so it's literally just a naming thing. That we don't do like the whole Twitch, like being able to summon stuff and yada, 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 yada. I can literally just make it a part of the naming convention. And it's also then I can like make it so you have to watch for so long before you're allowed to like claim a person. There's a couple different like tricks we can do. I think it might make it a little bit easier for future runs. We won't do it for this run because we're already in the middle of this, but you know, moving forward, different story. Good, remember that one? Need to move left or right and jam away. Just means we need to take away more tents? I mean, maybe. You might not be wrong. I hope we don't spend all of our time building that stage and instead maybe build the damn walls. No more meteors. No meteors. I just wish to cast Fireball. That is the last thing we need in our city made almost entirely of wood. We have a couple stone houses, stone buildings, a chitin building. Like one wrong fire would be bad, not good. You know what? I'm going to hide that delivery outpost spot under a tent because I can do that. Then I don't have to look at it. Nobody's making jewelry. Oh, that was fast. Done. Geez, they get the other section done. We'll be out of here in no time. I can't wait for this to actually be open because this is meant to, they're meant to be able to enter through here. So they can come in, new people can basically come in, put their horses away, put some stuff in the flop house, you know, and then enter town, head up the market, head to the inn for a pint. It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait. I could put a gate here. If we wanted. I don't think I do though. Oh, that's not built at all. Why did I think that was built? I mean, I guess it's going to be in a heartbeat, so we'll just leave it. Blair, are you building something underneath you? How's that gonna work? Like Blair is about to get deleted. this guy's like shooting arrows like past the archery target through the embrasure out the other side. Damn, I feel like I can't tell what's built and what's blueprints. Much like alcohol, fireballs are the cause and solutions to all life's problems. They're pretty effective. We'll go fireball. We'll go fireball's pretty effective, Windmill! Oh my god, look at us. Look at how much we're getting done today. In no time at all. 80 iron ingots, 280 timber, and 3 basic components. Requires a large space in front and behind. I mean, there's a couple places we could put this. I don't know if fences block it. I feel like they don't. I'd be lying if I say I didn't like this. It is a windmill in the middle of town, which is maybe a little bit ugly. And I bet if we put the windmill like that, we get to see it better, which would look really cool. I'm assuming the windmill is on that little part that sticks out. Trees will harm the wind flow. Yeah, trees will, yeah. I don't really want to put it in the growing fields, but I could put it in this farm anywhere. Who now? Duck, duck. Goose. I'd also like it to be near the bakery, so that people aren't having to go really far. I think I'm going to put it right here. Which do mean I got to move this bad boy. Truth is, I should probably build a few more of these anyway. Meow, 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 meow. Okie dokie. Can you move him, if you don't mind? Now we'll chop all this stuff down. Rest ye weary heads. I think I'll do it like that. And then we'll just say grow zone. Is that right? Bigger. Bigger. Hide. Don't plant. Grass. Do cut. Just having this like memory that's like there's a way to do this where you can set it up a little bit differently. Now this needs to be way more than that. know what? We might as well just fill up as much of this as I can right now. Chop that bad boy down as well. Harvest that bad boy. Actually, cut that bad boy. That white willow. It's going to have to go. Fences, I don't think will. I don't think so, but I think this is a fine spot for it. Keep the windmill near where I grow the grain. Yeah, so the grain grows here. Here and here. So the grain would come down that way, pop in the windmill, and then come down to the bakery. It's stored. Excess grain is stored here right now, but obviously that can change. They're baking a ton of bread. Yeah, I think this will work. It'll also get us a little surplus of wood. Most of the medieval times you see a windmill surrounded by grain and wheat for ease of use. Yeah. It's just that, like, I don't want to lose access to any of my growing field. Almost all of this zone is rich soil. And I've already, like, put a road in here. And an apiary. Cool, man. People are sleeping in this house. You could maybe eat somewhere else. What are you wearing? What is this? Magic Academy Inquisitor Cloak. Oh, all right. Okay, that's pretty cool. This hauberk is 347 work. Man. Oh, Bubba. I know you want to be chopping trees down. We kind of need like a dedicated smith to replace poor Bubs. Turk is still in a coma for one more day. Guess we're losing a bit of time with him as well right now. 6 degrees, 21 degrees. What is going on? Where is all that being stored? Normal. Critical. That's why everybody was storing the apothecary goods on the floor. Meant to be storing them in the cabinet. Old times farms outside the walls and other places are more advanced than is inside the walls. Yeah, I mean, that's why we're gonna start planting these like massive hay fields out here for next year. And this might also end up becoming like massive hay fields. I haven't really decided on what we're gonna do there. A djinn. Kill a djinn, get a legionnaires hat. This is a terrible quest. But this is all being chopped down, which is beautiful. He's planting lots of fields. I'm actually going to not put this on. I'm going to put this on like low, I think. As long as the trees are cut, that's the kind of important thing. These guys are feeding their bread to dogs. This is on normal. Okay, okay. Also probably put this on no petty jobs because I don't want them coming up here if there's only one thing to do. I do want them cutting those trees. Though I'm much more concerned about them getting this wall finished, which they've pretty much got done. We're getting a lot of diseases, plagues, and flus on our animals who are also starving. This is why we're not getting raided, is because we're getting all these constant other terrible attacks. Relaxing socially. My dude, there is nowhere in here that should say this is a social area. I wonder why he is socializing in the flophouse. Unfinished leather cloak by Turg. I'm assuming something is going to eventually eat this wild boar. We could just hunt it, but I gotta be honest, I think it's a herbivore, so I'm not really concerned about it being within the walls. We got people showing up with flutes on their back, and they're like, I'm gonna play some of your instruments. Once we have this stage, we'll have people doing plays and like poetry readings and stuff, and I'm very excited about that. He likes his alone time. He needs to vent sometimes, you know? You raise a good point. The wood. The wood, the wood, the wood. I'm going to try not to panic about the wood anymore. He says, constantly panicking about the state of the wood. You are relaxing in here. Socially. Awful bedroom. Workshop, awful. Oh. Colonist pawns resist going through side doors and even so emergency doors. Exclusive doors are meant for rooms with no other way and providing a routing hint. Emergency exclusive. I didn't know this was a thing I could do. So I could make this a side door and this a side door. I'm fine with people entering the inn on all sides, but I can make this and this side doors. And I guess that a side door as well. What I'm currently wondering is if I make these exclusive, will it start making people less likely to enter them? Like people's private bedrooms? And nobody should enter those anyway, but except the people who live there. It's just a bit complicated because some of these bedrooms, obviously, like we have tables in them and people like to eat. They like to be near tables. I don't think the exclusivity is really going to do anything. So if you're concerned about your wood, you should speak to your doctor. I hear they have pills for that. They have pills to help my trees grow faster. I just can't get enough things erected. Trying to erect these rock hard walls. Hey, it's done. Demolish. Oh, this tower lasted us a really long time and it did a really good job and I'm very proud of it. Oh, you need to remove the roof here is what you need to do. So that doesn't come crashing in afterwards. And we might build like cavalry spikes like here. So we have something to hide behind. Can't decide yet. I guess let's get rid of all that as well. Oh my god, I thought we'd never get that done. They have pills to make your tree grow faster? I'll get some sturdy shafts going. We're all over the place today. Our conversations are weird today. I love the inn. I'm really, really happy with how it's starting to look. It's not all the way there yet. I have a question, which is... Oh, no, that's awful cheese. And there's, I don't think, any cheese on this right now. No. Cheese. Harder to get a hold of than we would have first originally thought. Some more cheese pressers might be in store. These vegetable shelves ran out very early this year, as did these. Those eggs should be put in storage, but I'm not going to be the one to do it. I think I'd like to put a candle in here. But does it produce heat? No, I don't think it does. I could put the lamp in here. Oh, maybe that's what I should do. I actually forgot we had this lamp. That could look nice. And it's like a really dim glow, so. Back to the quality of the rooms. Are the tents and barracks is better than the inn? Oh, almost definitely. Dull, 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 dull. Dull, dull, dull. Oh, well, maybe not. Slightly impressive, but this is a barracks. Again, the inn is individual rooms, right? Individual rooms. Wow, we're out of wax. Huh. That doesn't happen very often. I was going to add candles into all of these rooms, like these. But, I guess because we're actually through winter right now. We're in spring. The pigs are eating the dead sheep. I'm a bit worried I'm going to accidentally end up doing something like have this ram be like one of the only sheeps we have. Dude, that pig just ate almost that entire ram. This pig just finished it off. On the bright side, I guess. Even my horses are starting to starve. That's not good. The horses should be rode around and be able to eat when they're looking at other stuff. He hopes. Maybe why they're not willing to enter that. Again, it feels like they should still like the private bedrooms. Because again, they're private, they're not barrackses. Took me long to get that thought out. Building a bridge. All right, fine. I don't want to keep building these bridges, though. If they keep burning down, I'm not going to keep rebuilding them. Unusable meditation focus. Animatry. What is your morbid? Oh, really? And artistic. Okay, well, we could just give you this one. Or this one. Let's give you this one. I'd rather them be meditating at the thing that they can actually meditate at. You're grabbing sheep, taking them and going. Yes, a lot of starving sheep. Big issue is that we don't have any grazing livestock. Excuse me. I guess you're just allowed in people's houses. I mean, you are the Spider Queen. You can probably do whatever you want. You're so hard to tame. I kind of love that. You're my frost troll. Ganders, boomalopes. That white dragon appears to have left. We have a pack of wild boars up here that we could hunt if we wanted meat. Loads of timber. Timber for days. Let's build the palace. Let's finish the palace. If we got timber for days, that's what this is. Oh, that's why we were not doing this. We didn't have silk, but we are about to unlock silk. Silk bed. A wooden platform designed to hold silkworms during their cocoon life cycle and are harvested for silk once they have fully finished spinning the cocoon. I could put them like just here, probably. That was perfect timing. Or do they need to be inside, do you think? Let's build one inside and let's see how that works first. How's that windmill going? They're like dragging stuff to it. They're starting. It is spring. It is 3 degrees outside. Everyone is starting the plants. We have pumpkins this year instead of mushrooms. The onions, the garlic is down. The lentils, the herbs are going to be coming. What's going on here? Why is nobody planting anything in that zone? Ça va? Yes, good. This thing is not really growing a lot of grass around it, which is weird. Anima bushes or whatever. But we do have all of our dryads hanging out, which is super cute. Mad cow disease incoming. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit out of control. Feeding fine meal to stallion. Look at this. I was going to go tell Blair to go do that. Already on top of it. All right, so I am starting to notice also that people aren't taking the roads as often as I'd like. Cool. I wonder if there's a way I can do this to say, like, prefer farm paths, dislike soil. Path light, farm path. Normal. Accept. What about soil? Marsh, marshy terrain, mossy terrain. I wish instead of normal, dislike, hate, strong, there was like preferred. That was like a step above normal. Because I actually don't think soil is like anywhere on here. Yeah, like this. I hate that they don't take this little path. And the only way I can kind of do that is if I start marking it out. That might be enough. I don't really like people taking this back alley either. Turg, I'm looking at you. all of this kind of area. I don't really want them taking like shortcuts through the graveyard. I just want to see whether or not I can make it so more people are walking on the roads. Which they should, to a certain degree, be doing automatically. But not always. Open the gates. I mean, that's the other big one, right? That's the other big one, is going Granite Castle Gate over here. We need a lot more granite if we want to build that, though. Actually, we don't need a lot more, but we do need some more. And I think I would rather finish this tiny little bit here if we're going to do that. So... I feel like that should be open. Absolutely, that should be open. We can remove plans from this whole section, because that's pretty much done, that means. And what I would like to do is go structure. Puppy dogs. We're going to add in a... God, where is it? Fine walls, smooth walls. I want stairs here. I was hoping to have a set of 2. In the same way that I would like them there. Where is my railing? Handrail. Diagonal rail. Where is this railing? Wooden corner fence is what it's called. There it is. Sometimes you can't see things when they're like immediately in front of you. Sometimes I can't see things when they're immediately in front of me. So let's actually do it like that. So I kind of what I want it to be is I want it to look like we go up on the palisades. That's the hope. That's what I like. Are we winning? How's Yan? We're winning. We're doing pretty good right now, actually. We just basically completed this wall section. Yan is taking a bath. Living life. Hashtag live, laugh, love. Got a small tolerance to alcoholism. Learning fully satisfied. Growth tier 5. All right, so we wanted this to go up to 8 before they turn 7, which is in 13 days, I think. Sadly, I don't think that's going to be the case. All right, I'm also going to do this. I have to. They're going to come out. They're going to eat all my heal root. Probably should have seen that coming. Probably should have seen that one coming. Oh, sorry, Blair. I need you to go through that gate. Poof. All right. And now they are all over town. Fantastic. I'm totally okay with that. It's not a big deal. All my heal rate wasn't at like 70%. Learning good things to help the hamlet. Yeah, he's been learning a lot from Dr. Sean mostly. He can't really do a lot of things right now, right? Because he's still pretty young. So he's been learning a lot of persuasion and intelligence. Those have kind of been like his big jams. Look, Dr. Sean is writing a book because he has nothing to research. He has nothing to research. I think we fundamentally know that that's not true. Printing. Cool. Catacombs. Oh, those are baller. Great looking candles as well. Oh yeah, well, I might as well queue that up. Could start making ballistas. Scorpios, ballistas, repeating ballistas. Griffinberry trees. I'm starting to think of like, what do we need? Vegetable milk, we definitely don't need. Harness the power of a river to automate cutting wood into timber. I didn't know that was the thing we could do. I also thought we completed esoteric studies because we already have an advanced research bench. And writing. This is confusing. Maybe they increased that for some reason? Maces, blades, pole arms. Trebuchet is not a bad idea. Ballistas would actually be good for us. I think I'm going to do watermill catacombs ballistas. Use the power of water. I'm kind of hoping, obviously, if I can dig this to shallow water, if I could place a watermill right here as part of the lumber, that'd be incredible. Like, that would be extremely, extremely useful. Poor Tolpanzer, man. He hates these days whenever we let the animals out. And he's just got to spend, like, a week going around hauling them all back to the farm. How do we keep letting all these animals get loose? The windmill is working. Oh, my God. Yes. Well, we can just turn that off. I think the windmill is just going to permanently make flour. Like, it's just going to take all of the wheat and constantly run with it. Yeah. Does 75 at a time. All right. So what's cool about that is I will be able to replace all these wheat storages with flour storage. Repeating ballista? Yeah. Medieval machine gun. I mean, right now we're using scorpions, which are like classical era. From the Romans, and I would obviously much prefer if we could make the good stuff, the fancy new age stuff. How's everybody doing? Turg is working on this. You just noticed another hole in your outfit. Y'all are finishing the wall. This is it. This is the military district is done. I mean, technically I need to embrasure a lot of this, which I should probably do. I'd really like it if y'all could, like, get rid of this stuff, though. I'm probably pretty sure I could just act-chung this. Wow, that watermill is already ready for a prototype. It's crazy, man. Dr. Sean is so good at just researching constantly. It's non-stop with him. This tree needs to be cut down. In fact, zone. Make sure that no man's land concludes that as well. Start making Greek fire to yeet at the incomers. There was a medieval mod that had fire. They weren't like fire pots. They were called like damn, what were they called? Like the idea was like the pot of boiling oil. And so you would put it here and it would go like 2 squares away. So you could just do it over a set of walls and that would be about it. This didn't look as good as I hoped. Doesn't really connect properly. But I guess that's okay. So this is how this is going to go. Boom, boom. I think I'm cutting that corner in. And I don't really want to go too further up that way, but that's enough little jobs for them. So this will replace chunks of these steel walls with granite embrasures. So we can shoot out. And the idea being that we like have a scorpion here and a scorpion here and people have to come in this way. So they just have to like pass this huge field of fire and then like into this field of fire as these guys shoot out. I probably need to get rid of this marble. But right now it's not really doing me any harm. So how is the tile looking? Dragon's all gone. Yeah, we're pretty clean right now in terms of dangerous creatures. We have a lynx, a bunch of pigs. They've made their way in as well. Am I out of coal chunks? I actually am. I don't love digging this because it's going to add room for people to walk across. Like if somebody spawns here and they know that there's regular tiles here, they might actually just path across. That's why I'm trying to like leave this out as much as possible. I want this stage. I want this stage done so bad. But like, I don't know, man. Everything's moving pretty good right now. Prototype watermill. Heavy. It must be on moving water. All right. So it's not going to work. I'm going to let him finish it anyway, though. I don't want to leave him a job half done. That's a bummer, though. Man, that would have really saved an incredible amount of time in making timber. I mean, right now we make a limited amount of timber, and we try to use raw wood for everything, but they often just do whatever the hell they want. Oh, this needs maintenance on regular occasion, too. But it's nice to see this going, cooking. The old windy windmill. Which actually is probably not working properly because there's all these trees in the gosh darn way. Larry, when you wake up in the morning, or when you finish whatever the hell you're doing right now, please chop these trees down. Larry, who is like lightning fast at chopping down trees as well. This should improve the windmill's speed by quite a bit. I hope. This windmill with nothing in it. I mean, it looks like it's cooking. Boiling oil was probably never used, though. Way too expensive and also impractical. What about boiling tar? I actually have no idea. Gert, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. Welcome to our little medieval village. Now that these walls are done again, I mean, we've added in a few other little replacement, basically replacing and puncturing holes in the steel here as we build this up with granite. That'll be a small job for them, but it's We'll go back to digging this moat now as well. Which is good. I'd like that to be done. I guess once we also have enough trees, we could just start making charcoal. That seems like forever away, though. All right, I'm going to stick with my goal of, like, I want this stage built today. Keep an eye out for anything like wild spiders. If we're lucky, we'll pick up something. Blood scarabs. Chocolate's working away on linen trousers. A lot of good stuff being stored in here that I would have anticipated going in here. Lamellar priority normal. Priority normal. I guess I'm going to make these priority preferred. My worry is that maybe the stalls will get screwed up from this. But the stalls should only allow in things that are 100%, so I can actually put them on important. What do we have in here? A hard dragon scale warfork and a bone mold bulava. A masterfully crafted mace. And these guys also have preferred, but 100%, so they should be fine. And the wooden crate, same deal. I think that'll work. What is being stored here? Jewelry. Watermill. Can't build it. Let's just make sure. Must be on moving water. Yeah, I mean, it 100% makes sense. Doesn't mean I don't have to be sad about it. Anyway, we'll work on the catacombs. We'll work on the ballista. What else is in... Can I pull up the old tree here? Under medieval. Musical instruments. I need schematics to get intermediate cooking and then advanced cooking and then soup for some reason. Bird can call a labor team, which is nice. I don't know that I want to do that right now, though. Carpet making. That's pretty bougie. I don't know that we need that. Plate armor. Ah, we require all the legionary stuff from classical era before we can make a plate. Noted. Unless we want to start making like adorned armor. Or divine armor. Which is pretty cool. What about tar? We need esoteric studies and then alchemy. Alchemy bench, living shield, elixirs of troll blood, tar, steel, gunpowder, flash pots, fire pots, hand mortars and muskets. Cool. Oh yeah, the ballista repeaters there. We need schematics for that. We don't need schematics for the regular ballista though, but we do need arbalist or crossbow, which we don't have, which means training crossbow has to get on the list. Ah, that's cool. I love that. I'm actually going to take intermediate cooking off. That's kind of amazing. We'll put ballista in first anyway. You can't make a big ballista until you can make... You can't make a big crossbow until you can make a tiny crossbow. Is basically the rule. Okay, and I do actually want to clean this up a little bit because I am not happy with the way this looks right now. Yo. I've been like kind of undecided on what I want to do with this tile. But I just know I don't like the patchwork that we have going on right now. Even if we just end up dirting it all down, I'd be happier. Though, I do want to make the walls. Cracked tile, sandstone, limestone. I'm gonna have the walls in this area and the houses be done in it. Because I think that kind of just like looks a little bit nice. And the stable can be finished. Perfect. Flop house, armory, stable. Newton finishing the theater. Bones is coming down to sing him off. Yay! We now have a stage. In our somewhat impressive dining room. Highly decorated wooden stage meant to provide area for props and actors both to create compelling scenes. Such performances are quite fun for those on stage and those casting their eyes upon it. Was I meant to make this out of wood? Is that why it took so long? I don't know why I made it out of marble. But this is amazing. I love seeing the two of these dweebs play music together. If someone got on stage right now and started acting, I would be the happiest kitten. No, he was a little late. They played an intro song. It's the first performance of the theater. Nobody's here to watch. It's an unreceptive audience. But your trying flew viral. Cassie and Blairy playing a game of cup and dice in the corner. Oh, the water barrel is here now too. Comfort. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. It adds comfort. But to what? To beds? To baths? To tables? Just like the idea of somebody being able to clean themselves up, you know, at the bar. Marble just means your classical performance will have that little extra bit of authenticity. Yes, sir. I love it. Hey, this is pretty good, dudes. We managed to get the armory done, the flop house. Fix the walls, get the actual entrance in. We should fix this road. Something we're going to need to do. This whole road changes now. Like dramatically. How do you do? I don't know that people would go up that way anymore. Actually, I don't know that they wouldn't. I feel like it would have to have that way. This way. Maybe I can allow that to stay. But then we'd remove this. That? I'm going to try that and see how that works. There is meant to be a dirt path that leads into this place, but until we figure out what the flooring is in this place, I think we can kind of hold off a little bit on that. Ingeborn Pink Butterfish Ravelson, Sharp Chief of the Skinny Fex clan, has sent us a message. She wants to talk to us in a nearby location. If we include Turg, we have a chance of success. Monster encounter. Annual expo. Where the hell do they want us to meet? Up here? Day and a half, maybe less with a horse. The Skin Faxi clan. Who are the Skin Faxi clan? They sound like Vikings. They are. They're hostile Vikings. That's kind of cool. These guys are like raiding us from across the sea. And they want to meet for a peace opportunity up by the cannibal tribes. I don't hate that. We didn't do any caravans today. But that's not to say we couldn't. Get some colonists together to do Julius Caesar. I'm trying not to have anybody stabbed. But no promises. Should I install these like this? I'm wondering if I make it so that all 4 of these instruments can be played at the same time. Will more people play them? And the jury is out, I would say, on that. All right, well, look, it's a beautiful night. In the beginning of spring, the entire farm is already planted. They haven't started down here yet. No petty jobs, no petty jobs. No petty jobs. These are low fields. Allow harvest. No cutting. Harvest plants matching that. I think they'll cut grass if that's the case. I'd like to see how they do here. We can move those granite chunks in. Is this our troll? It is. This timber, man, has been out here deteriorating forever. I'm just going to pick it up. Okay. I think this is a good place to leave it. I think this is a good place to leave it today. We got a lot done. We actually like got the fort and the walls and all of this nice little chunk set up, along with like actually being able to get up on our walls properly. We have enough granite. I might be able to do these walls, finish them. I just want these railings. What I want to do is I want to take those granite railings and run them along the back with like a couple openings in specific spots. I want it to be that like we go up on the walls is what it's going to kind of look like. And then any additional granite can be used to start fencing off like my noble district and stuff like that. Which is something I really want to do. If we get additional wood, we can start fencing off the military district. This is just about taming. We need to get the monster hunting program, the monster breeding program started for the Haunted Forest. And that actually means sending out caravans. So tomorrow, I'm going to focus on caravans. I think our resources are like in decent shape. I know we don't have a lot of wood coming in, but we do have the various forest areas set up. I wouldn't mind getting the fishing hut done, just so if we got that done, we would effectively have like this much of the map finished. You know what I mean? Which is almost the entire map. When you consider that like also most of this is done. It really only remains like this. This is a breeding program, and this is mostly a war district and decorations. We're not far off winning, which is really good because we've been at it for a while. All right, that's it for today. Save and quit to menu. A2 Turgay. A2. Thank you for joining me.